welcome, welcome. How are you guys? It is July. It is a new month. That actually is exciting. It comes with new events and yeah, lots of fun things ahead. July is quite busy here, huh, babe? I looked over at babe. Everyone say hi to David. He's over there. We're still gonna figure this out. Once, I guess we'll we're still figuring out the live events, but for the most part, everything seems to be flowing better. When I said we'll continue to figure it out, I was just like with Dave, and I don't know if you guys can hear him or not, but I think it's fun to have him here. I really appreciate him keeping an eye on the comments so that I don't miss anything. And of course, we love when you guys say hi. So definitely say hi in the comments. It makes it just feel, I don't know, not so alone. I guess you could say. How are you guys? Yes, it is crazy busy in July here. We have a wedding at the end of the month and a baby blessing and lots of family coming into town and the weather and camps and all this lovely stuff of memories. Summer has that way of helping us to make memories, right? And we know how precious that is as scrapbookers. Carol, hello. Hello from Arizona. How's the weather in Arizona right now? I was talking to my dad. He's over in Nevada. And boy, was it last week? Yeah, that heat wave. Oh, it was intense. Intense. Here, it's like decides to have a really hot day, then rain, which then brings the humidity, and then it kind of comes with a nice little breeze the next day, and then it's back again. It's like back to the heat wave. Summer. Yeah, totally. But summer's fun. Summer's fun. Actually, we're going to be designing some summer pages. So hopefully you have a lot of summer memories that maybe you want to scrapbook, relive. If you're not quite wanting to get out in the heat, then stay inside and scrapbook those summer past memories and soak all the sun up through your scrapbooking pages. Not bad, right? And you don't get a sunburn that way either. 84 in Michigan sounds wonderful, Trisha. That sounds amazing. Wow, that sounds awesome. In sunny Wyoming. Linda's in Wyoming right now. Love it. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this event is kind of a play to create demonstration. So if you're new to Kiwi Lane, this is kind of like a quick overview of demonstration. But if you've been around and you're familiar with Kiwi Lane, we just love to basically take the featured set, so a handful of sets, and just play with those. Come up with some ideas. Feel free to take some screenshots as we go along. If something sparks an idea or inspiration for you, we hope that you run with it. And don't overthink it, really. Take the idea, go create a page, put it on your calendar, make some time, and let's finish a page or two, right? But there's so much inspiration at your fingertips with the designer templates that really just instantly spark inspiration that you don't have to go too far. And so the principle of play to create that method really in and of itself provides lots of inspiration. With that said, we're all inspired by each other. So like I said, if you're inspired by something that I'm designing, don't overthink it. Take a screenshot, run with it. It's great. We are totally in support of that. So the featured sets for this month, let me go over that. So these are handpicked by our Kiwi Lane team. And these sets offer you kind of that inspirational combination with a nice clear focus to help, keep those decision paralyzation of, at bay when sometimes we're like, too many choices. Well, we really take, a look, and every month we handpicked a few sets that we just know will be harmonized together seamlessly and just create lots of layout designs, which you'll probably see and have witnessed yourself. There's two ways. One, if you're a club member and the Premier Club, you'll have an insert right this. It's already listed here, the featured sets for a given month. Not only are they great combinations and suggestions in and of themselves, but we put them on here for the Kiwi Club because they will also enhance and correlate with the club items and products themselves. So that's also taken into consideration. But the featured sets alone are also, like I said, harmonize, awesome, with less overthinking for you, and give you that focus to scrapbook maybe a little faster because you're not overthinking it, right? All right. So now, really quick field trip. Let's go on to a field trip. If you go to the website, I always like to showcase this in any given month, give or take a day or two. But for the most part, we reset here at Kiwi Lane. And you can find those featured sets, of course, right over here, featured sets. Hopefully we reset because I was looking at the calendar and it says the 2nd. Yeah, we did. Yay, team. Yay, team. So we got Summer, Whimsy, Coastal Highway, and Tiny Seaside. All right. So that's actually quite a bit. Usually we do 2 to 3 featured sets. This month we were like 4, full on summer here at Kiwi Lane. There's so much potential. But again, if that helps streamline some decisions and kind of basically go-to layering combinations, don't look any further than the featured sets. All right, because they are go-to layering combinations. They really do, from our experience, work great together, which is why we suggest them. All right, so let's jump into it. So right away, I have the Coastal Highway laid out on my table. Let me straighten that a little bit. Coastal Highway is one of the featured sets. It's one of our standard border sets. And when I say standard, it means that it's designed with the A and the B. You get 3 different pairs in a border set. These are 12 inches, super easy to work with, and more importantly, to have fun and to layer and just try different combinations as far as your frames. First step, pull it out, put it on your page, right? And this is my background sheets, my sheets that I would design on top of, that are the background sheets of your page that you're creating as well. But I say that, pull them out, right? Always emphasize. I'm going to start saying that's the first step, guys, because really that is the first step. Pull them out and just place them on your table. Place them on top of your paper, because naturally what you'll want to do is start moving them around. So I'm going to take one pair. Let's go ahead and take one of our pairs, and we are going to start displaying. Now, in previous featured sets events, I've shared there's 2 ways that I like to recommend when you sit down to scrapbook to start a page. One, with a border pair. Leave everything else to the side. I have not pulled any of that out yet, right? I do have the featured sets here in my tray, but I'm not pulling them out yet. So that's number 1. The second way is to start with a backdrop design element or a larger piece. So I'm going to start this one with the borders, and then we'll, clear our board and start again the other version. But let's say you do start with a border. Like I said, don't pull anything out quite yet. And you really, again, don't have to have things cemented. So even though you're most likely are going to add in other elements and designs, you'll definitely still continue to kind of stir your design around basically on your page. Actually, I really love an across design like this. And that's so cute with Coastal Highway 1A with B. I don't know what it is. It's attracting me to this right now. That's really cute. And that's key, guys. Whatever you're like, when you do something, you're like, oh, I'm kind of attracted to that, or that inspires me, then just see where it takes you. It's not permanent, right? So let's just say we wanted to do that. I often lately, I'm doing one border, but let's go ahead and throw another border in for the sake of, let's add a few more layers. And the more layers you do, the more, of course, you have more depth to the page, but at the same time, it does add to the amount of complexity, I guess you could say, to your layout. So it's totally optional, right? It's completely optional. How many layers you want to add. I moved those around. I put this one over on this side. You saw that happen because we're doing a cross design. I want that to line up so I don't have to overthink it as the designer. So that's why I flipped those. Okay. Yeah, that's fun. We'll see. We'll see if it sticks, right? Because that's kind of just step 1. Pull some borders out, play around with them. And you know what, guys? I know this one, Coastal Highway. How many of you guys have Coastal Highway? Hopefully a few of you. This is more of a seasonal. I think we have a few left. for this season. It's kind of one that we kind of let sell out and then we just bring back through the season. So make sure to grab it this summer while you can. This one can be intimidating. It has a little bit more detail than like the more simple curves, but I'm going to probably cut this out. I wasn't planning on it, but I think it's a good one to showcase the cutting out, even though we have other videos on that, just because it helps you just see firsthand, right? So I'm going to probably design with that the next one, but this layout, let's do this. All right. And then I mentioned also we have the other featured sets. We've got Summer, Tiny Seaside, and Whimsy. Again, that is a lot for featured sets, yet they absolutely all work together. And you get to choose how many of those details, in this case, layers, details you want to add. If you are inspired to use Whimsy, Whimsy is fun. It is definitely the larger pieces that I was talking about. I like to go from like border framing to the larger pieces of whatever sets that I'm encouraged or inspired to use. So in this case, featured sets, right? I'm looking at them and I'm like, okay, these are the larger ones. Let me see kind of where I might want to place them on my page and then layer up on top of those. So just keep that in mind. Sizes, if you're inspired to use rings, you might want to throw rings in right about now in your design step. Let's see, some of the larger templates too, like hexagons are a large one, or triangles, things like that, that again are underneath our backdrop category because they're labeled backdrops from a design perspective, because they really do give you kind of a nice anchor to build on top of, something to layer up and around. And you can see instantly I shifted my border down, right? Because I'm like, well, I want to experiment with this. So the border's not staying where I originally had it. I'm going to pivot and adjust my things as I go. Okay, the sun's so cute, guys. I mean, like I said, it's just so easy to use these. Even if you wanted to go more of like the flower approach. I will say with Whimsy, I do tend to use, like if I use the sun, I might just use the sun, not multiple from Whimsy because of their sizes, but you can create multiple layouts clearly. But I will say that naturally I tend to, if I want to use a cloud, then I'll pull out the cloud. I do think the cloud and the sun could be really cute together, depending on what you're doing. Oh, I've never done that before. It's a little more of a statement, but that could actually be really cute. And I might lift this a little bit. This is why I love this event, because I just get a chance to also just play. And that's a large little cloud. I would also do maybe a little cloud on the top here, but that's when you might start reaching outwards. So and if I was going to do that, I might move that to the left and this to the right. I just feel like this has like a big statement to the start of a story. I always think of that, like reading, right? Left to right, which then if I did that, I would have to flip my borders. So again, pivot, and I'm flipping them because I want them to, again, align in the movement. Let's run with that. Let's run with that and see where it takes us. Now that I kind of have those big designs, if you're encouraged to use them, and this is why it's so helpful to kind of narrow in on a few sets initially, especially when you get started. Listen, I already talked about, I want another little like cloud, which probably would be great from Celebrate or Tiny Celebrate. That's the ones that go off, that come to my mind right away, that aren't part of the featured sets, but I'm going to kind of hold that off. And then I can go and cherry pick, so to speak. But when you first get started, it really is helpful, which is why we encourage the featured sets and why we offer these kind of new combinations each month, is because it really does help to kind of streamline and give you focus when you initially sit down to scrapbook. And then you just explore where I don't know about you guys, right? Things will pop into your mind. Things will be like, ooh, what if I did something like this? But you've got to kick into play for you to open up that creative flow, especially after long days and things like that. But I promise it works. Even after long days, it works. You just got to get them out, put them down on your page, and just let your hands and your mind get lost in discovery of what you get excited about and what feels fun. Okay. All right. So now with that said, if I want to, I'm actually going to throw my photos into now. Once I have a frame, which for me, the frame is composed of either borders or your large elements. Those are your backdrops. Those are your elements that a lot of times you add your photos into the frame. And then all of these other fun sets like summers or tiny seasides or elements from our stash, those are going to create details. Those are going to embellish. So for me, create a structure frame, which includes even backdrop elements that are larger, because now we're going to go in and place our photos into that frame. And then from there, we're going to embellish. Okay. All right. Cass says, I missed the beginning. How do you come up with each template to use? Yeah, when we create the featured sets for the month, it's based off of our experience, our usage, our knowledge of 15 years of what works well together, but also understanding the design principles that we teach. This is why it's so great to have a border, a backdrop design, and even accessory. Picking one from each of the categories and how we break them up. And then also based off of what you're scrapbooking. Are you scrapbooking summer? Are you scrapbooking Easter? Right? That also plays an effect. But yeah, that's how we pick them. They're based off of
and just as a reminder,
a combination.
As a reminder, they are in the shop.
Yeah, and as a reminder, they're always in the shop for each given month. We reset that each month. So if you're looking for that combination, suggestions, like I said, to give you focus and to take away from some decision fatigue, then those are great suggestions. I highly recommend them because I feel like, yeah, they're good suggestions. We really know what will work together because we've really broken those down, not just from design, but principles too. Okay. Now, will you be getting the triple pouches in again? I keep missing them. Charisse, I need to check into that. I feel like last time we were like, we're not having long-term, which is why we did the pre-order on those, but I will get back to you on that. We might have to do another pre-order because they sold out again. And yes. Okay. Remind me about that, Dave. I will look in the triple because we'll have to do a survey and see how many, because I know a lot of you guys have been able to get them, but then at the same time, some of you haven't. So I totally understand. Totally understand. All right. So I'm going to throw some photos into here. You know what? Maybe even I was looking at this border. If I want the double border, here's what's going through my mind. I have this space, right? Now, granted, I love white space. So I'm not looking to fill all the space, but I'm also looking for opportunities where to place photos. Because again, when we get to the embellishing, those were the details and the other things are going to come into play. And those will fill in the other gaps and we'll have fun with those as well. But right now I'm looking for opportunities for photos. This comes down to two factors. One, how many photos do you want to fit on your page? If you know you're only going to fit 6, easy. Easy, easy. Let's do it. 1, 2. I don't know. We can even do, I'm going to tuck this under. I like to tuck photos if, again, depending on your photos, you can tuck them up underneath to keep the movement of the borders. I don't like to, not all the time it happens, but for the majority, I am conscious of covering, like, so for example, putting this on top. If I can put it underneath, I like to put it underneath to keep the movement to the page so it doesn't feel so stagnant, okay? That's one of the things the borders offer is movement to the life memories that you're scrapbooking. Okay, so where were we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really, honestly, 6 is so easy. Probably too easy. Let's go for a little bit more. So clearly, if you only have a certain amount, you might want to just play with that amount of photo templates. It's beyond easy. Otherwise, we're looking for opportunities and you're kind of making your decisions off of that. I was thinking to kind of go along with this straight edge, we could do a row of photos. I had actually do, and this is why I love having 2 sets of photos. Not that I'm trying to sell you on 2 sets of photos, but I can tell you from a scrapbooker to another, it has been more handy than not to have 2 sets of photos. And I was just looking at, because I could do, so like I talked about this space right here, opportunities where to put photos. And typically I would put like, I don't know, I like to kind of get them under. So listen, guys, when I'm doing this, I'm kind of pulling from the corner. I'm using my template to lift the other one. When my nails don't allow me to, especially when they get this long, I need to get them done again. So that's my little trick, okay? I use these often to kind of scoop. But yeah, so here's what I was saying is that typically you can do, I like to throw some 4x6s because for the most part, not every photo you're going to want to trim it down. Although you'll be surprised more often than not, you can trim photos down. Even if you're like, oh, but I didn't take my pictures. I still believe more often than not, you can trim your pictures down, your 4x6s down reasonably to a 3x4 or 4x4, like reasonably, right? So this is one way to fill in a space at the bottom in this specific design that we did, or you could do a lineup, a photo lineup. And that's kind of clean. I really like, I want to see what that looks like going across the page, to tell you the truth. I really like that. I'm trying to decide if it's too much, if we just kind of continue that. You can throw some 3x3s in there. Where's all my other ones? Let me see. I know I at least have 6 3x4s because like I said, I have 2 of the sets because it comes in more handy than not. But I don't know where it went. Oh, here's another 3x3. We'll just squish those in for visual aid. Yeah, that's kind of cute. I'd pull that up just a little, give me a little bit more breathing room. I'd probably even do just a nice little 1/2-inch strip to kind of give that a nice structure. And then I would let the top kind of do a lot of the movement. Guys, honestly, at this point, we built a frame, we pulled in our pictures, right? Same steps, guys, same steps. And I love reinforcing this step. That's why I love this event so much, is because there's just a lot of, sometimes we overthink it, right? Listen, I understand that. And anytime I feel like, always remember to play, P-L-A-Y, which means pressure check, checking that pressure, making sure that you're not bringing in any expectations that aren't yours, right? Comparing yourself, anything like that can make you feel overwhelmed, right? And or second guessing or questioning everything. So again, you want to play. So you want to really avoid any of those concerns. Play, P-L, less is more. So again, when I say remember play, yes, remember play, less is more. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed again and you sit down in your scrapbook and you're like, but Susan makes it look so easy. You just got to say, okay, maybe I need to take what Susan said and only choose 2 or 3 sets. If it's not the featured sets, make your own combination of featured sets. And again, we want to come up with the design first. Then we can start pulling in our stash or other elements at that point, because we'll see the opportunities, literally see them, right? Because we'll be able to visualize. So less is more in a lot of cases, okay? It will help you be able to play. And that is the key, play. Association, listen, if you're still feeling stuck, this is where association station, going to the community, finding one idea. But I would encourage you again, especially with 2025 being our less overthinking and more creating year, right? When you find one idea, just like stop and go with the one idea, and then go see if you can actually bring that idea to life in your own version. All right. And then, so association, it's great for that. It's great for pulling in inspiration. It's great for finding a sketch, whatever that is. If you feel like you need that, then that's okay. Go find it, grab that inspiration and run with it. That's okay. We all need that inspiration at one point or another. So like I said, if you want to take screenshots, take them, run with it. Don't overthink it. All right. And then ultimately, if you're still feeling like I am way into my head, I am still questioning every decision I make, right? All of those lovely, not so lovely, I guess I should say, feelings. Then remember why, which is also that little reminder inside of how to help us to get back to play. And that is Eureka hack. All right. So that's utilizing you, literally you, putting some music on, standing up, walking around. Like these things add to you getting back into the creative flow, because we all hit those moments inside of feeling not creative, so to speak. So you're not alone. Okay. First and foremost, you are not alone. But like I said, the first step in general is just to pull out one set, whether that's a border set or a larger backdrop set. And when I say that, like if you're like, I really want to use rings on this layout, then start there. But ultimately, just place it on your page, because you can't help but build them and like play with them. They're like Legos in that sense. All right. Okay, back to the page. So here's a great idea. One quick layout design. Lots of pictures, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Easily you could add a few more there if you wanted to. Oh, there's my other 3x4. I was like, where's my other 3x4s? But I have a lot of daughters scrapbooking right now in my stuff, which I'm happy for. I want them to scrapbook, but sometimes I'm like, things don't get that put back where you originally had them. Okay, so let's talk about the next featured sets. We have Tiny Springtime and Summer, the summer set. Tiny Seaside, not Springtime, yes. I do love Springtime, but it is Tiny Seaside. So this set actually has some really fun designs. So we have like another sunburst, we have a surfboard, flamingo, beach ball. So again, classic summer, lots of fun ways you can use it. Beach pictures, summer pictures, birthday pictures, just depending on what you're doing, vacations. So if any of those, were something that I was scrapbooking, I might come in and just add a little detail. It does not need much detail, not all the time, guys. Maybe this is where you would pull in some, glitter paper, some fun things to add to the details of the embellishment itself from the accessory set. But it doesn't mean you have to have your page covered in them. Sometimes the little details come in how you choose to dress up each little design, and that's fun. Embrace it, because it really can be fun. So, all right. So maybe I do something like that. Those feel a little close to me. So maybe I come over here and I flip it to this side. Honestly, looking at this design we have, it doesn't need much. But if I was doing a summer page, I will say this set is great for it. If I wanted more of like popsicle vibes. So again, I'm kind of adding these, but they're perfect sizes for each other. I love how easily summer set layers within itself so easily. Okay. So we're just looking for opportunities where a little bit of personality and theminess comes into play. And then, of course, utilize your paper stash to help you transform these. And then 2, maybe, cute little brads or buttons. That's the details. That's the last step. We don't need to worry about that in the first designing step. But that's kind of what you can expect, I think, overall. Okay, let me throw in, I'm going to switch it up because like I said, in this next layout, maybe we'll use more of these together, but Tiny Seaside just offers kind of a different designs. And although they could be cute with each other, let me pull this guy out. Okay. I actually have 2 Tiny Seasides because I love it so much. There are some sets that I have 2. I do not have 2 of everything, but there are some that I do. Yeah, if I was doing it, I don't know. Like, I love when you have multiple fishes jumping across your page. If you happen to be, I don't know, cute fishes if you need it. You know what could be cute? I love this tropical flower. I love just a basic flower simply because it doesn't have to be specific and they're pretty standard as far as like universal. It just, you change the color of those flowers, especially this one. I call it a tropical flower, but I've used it in non-tropical pages. So super cute, super fun. All right. But you can see I can change kind of these clusters based off of interest and things. And that's where accessories can take this, you know, really switch up or add to a page. I could take the same design talking about accessories. And if I wasn't playing with these featured sets this month, I don't know if I have anything in front of me. Literally, I could add in a few ornaments here and a few like little trees here. And I have a Christmas page if I wanted to. Maybe not the sunburst. I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Okay. And if you wanted to go a full-on floral, one last thing, and then we're going to clear this thing, and then I'm going to not keep you guys so long. This is what I have to remind myself in this event. Be like, ooh, what time is it? Because I could go and go and go and go and go and go. Too many fun ideas, too many options on how you can play. But let's say I wanted to do like, this looks like that nice floral. It's like a big one. And maybe I wanted to do something a little bit more, I don't know, elegant or that kind of floral vibe, more of that vibe versus the playful, right? Then yeah, maybe I would even do some of these like little flowers too. Maybe do a double layer. So you could do something like that. Something like that. Again, kind of change the spirit of that page just a little bit, the personality of it. All right, let's do a quick cleanup, and then I'll do one more kind of take on another layout design using the same sets. Does anybody have any questions? Again, if you're new or if you're like, I struggle at that step, let me know. Like, this is the time to ask those questions. Don't be shy about it at all.
There are just a couple more people expressing interest in getting those triple pouches.
Okay.
So we're definitely going to make sure we look into.
So a few of us missed that kind of batch. Yeah.
And then Kelly McLean from Victoria, BC, Canada. Curious about when we might start shipping to Canada.
I know. We'll work with our fulfillment center on that one. That was a funny one because I just had a meeting the other day about it. So it's on my mind too, I guess is what I'm saying. It definitely is on my mind. Any other questions about Canada? Can you guys hear David? I always wonder because it will not make sense if I'm talking and then you can't hear what he said. About the triple sets, you know, guys, we were not planning, we wanted the triple pouches to be a kind of like a catch-up because we're not necessarily have many sets that we think in the future will fit within these small size because we've kind of adopted to where our sets are more really taking in consent. Like summer's actually a good set of this where you have the different various of sizes right within a set to help you get that layering effect easily. When we first did Q Lane and started it, we had, for those of you guys remember, like we had floral, tiny floral, right? Wildflower, tiny wildflower. So that's where the smaller packs came in. But that's kind of why we said like, hey, get these, the tiny, like how many you're going to need for your triples as your set is today. But clearly, I think a few of you guys still need triple sets to finish off getting your templates organized and up to speed. And we want to help make sure you guys can do that because it's so fulfilling to get your templates organized. It takes some doing, but I will just say having these tabs has made a huge difference for me personally, because I can see what I'm grabbing and I also can put away my templates faster when I'm done. So we want to help you get it organized. So we will look into that more. Okay. Shelly says, I have issues with everything moving when I start to replace the templates with paper. Any suggestions on how to do it without all moving? Yeah, like, you know what? On this next round, let me go through that. And honestly, I will say, mine does move. But I know some people do the magnet board. I do not do the magnet board. I thought about it a few times, but for the most part, I can manage without it. So I'll share some thoughts here in a moment on that, Shelly. So I'll circle back around to that. Actually, when I cut out this piece, that will be a good place where we can revisit that question. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out this other border. Like I said, from Coastal Highway, if you have this set, right away, it had so much more personality than some of our other borders, which for some, it could be intimidating. And for some others, they just get really excited. So some people are like, I love that. I have to have that set. Really, honestly, of course, because of the name itself, Coastal Highway, you think of waves, right? But in the community, I've seen people use it as icicles. I've seen it being used on an elf page out of green paper. So I think really in general, like all of the templates, it takes on the personality of the paper you're using. But I do think that this specific border has a lot of personality to it, which adds a lot of personality quickly, instantly to your design. But you can see it does still work as an A and B. So we are going to be able to trace and cut them out as one. Now, let me go ahead and get the design. Let's design a page with this border because we use the other borders from this featured set. And we're just going to try something different. Now, again, I think sometimes with this, we often think, oh, we got to keep our waves to the bottom, right? Because if you're doing waves, which is valid, if that's something that really just bothers you or stands out to you, you might want to just kind of design with them instantly in that manner, right? With that thought process. And then go from there. Yes, Kathy, I was going to mention that you could take a picture after your design so you can constantly refer to it if that helps keep it fresh in your mind, but we'll get to that. And Marie, you guys are awesome. They're already in the comments helping out. I love it. And washi tape is an absolute another option. Yes, you can tape them down if needed, if you want to do that extra step. Okay. But I guess what I was going to also share on that was that they will move a little bit. But if you're afraid of forgetting where things are, I think the picture thing for me is the best. There have been a few times that I just take a picture because my mind is like not going to remember. There are just some days, right? Short-term memory, not so great right now. Like in midlife, it's just not great. Somebody told me it comes back in the 70s, but I don't know. Some of you guys might be able to tell me if that's true, but then I don't know. Some people are telling me they're not true. And I was like, what? People have been lying to me. They've been lying to me. No. Again, great tips. All of them are great tips. Oh, it's been a week or two, hasn't it, Kelly? And I miss seeing you. I haven't seen you around for a little bit too. Your lovely cat's faces. I always think of Kelly whenever I see that profile picture. Guys, we could do a back-to-back. I don't know. I'm just playing. But that is adorable. I'm not going to lie. That's really cute. Okay. All right. You know what? I did say the other way you could do. Let's erase this. Because if you wanted to start with the big piece, you could. But again, it comes down to what set are you most interested in using? Because if you're like I talked about it earlier, if you were like, I really want to use rings on this next layout, then start kind of placing and moving those things around. If you were saying you really wanted to use, I don't know, where did the flower? I know we designed with it a minute ago, but I wanted to change it up because I think I put it back. Those moments where you pull it back. If you know you want to incorporate this and you're like, I want to use this piece, then pull it out right away. Even though I kind of told you this step one, pull out a border or the larger, I honestly think it should just instantly go onto the page so that you can start to figure it out. I don't know. Then from there, I could have done that too, but now I can go back to the border. But see how I'll start to incorporate the design that you want. That's kind of fun. I'm not going to lie. And in this case, maybe I would do it on the top layer here. I did tell you I like to keep the border here, but this also has a lot of movement too. So, and again, you can go to the outside edge because creating this decorative frame and then placing your pictures in is really fun. Or if you don't want it to be displayed on the outside of your page, you can have it come in the inside. Or I was just looking at this little bump here. I was like, sometimes you'll see almost like puzzle piecing. You'll see like opportunities. You're like, oh, but I like how this curve kind of really matches the middle of that flower. And then you can kind of see, I don't know how it how it kind of plays off the rest of the elements. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right. That would be cute too, with ornaments hanging from the wave tips. Ooh, that's adorable, Heather. My mind just went wild with that. Little Christmas ornaments hanging from these guys. Oh my gosh. And then if you were doing a Christmas, I would totally do that with like one of the, like a Christmas tree here. Done. You would have a cute frame if you were doing that. Christmas in July, anyone? Right? Christmas in July. Give it a shot. Pull out Coastal Highway and use it Christmas in July. We should do a challenge. I'm going to. Yes. Love it. So again, I think that's so valuable to know, like Coastal Highway, I am designing it with from side to top to bottom. It does not always have to be just position in the direction you would assume waves to be, right? We don't have to be so checks and balances in reality on our designs. Creativity allows us to work outside of boxes all the time. So just keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So we'll do something like that. And then even, you know what? That's when those other pieces would have been really cute too. I should have saved the flower because the flower vibe was kind of fun. We'll come back to that. And you don't have to do 2 borders. We did the other 2 borders layered like this, of course, on our first layout. This is a really fun back-to-back design, simple go-to, easy design option when it comes to borders. Or you don't have to use multiple borders on a layout, right? We could just use the one if we wanted to. But let's explore that. Then, because I knew I wanted to use this piece, I want to throw in some borders. I like the border movements. You don't have to add borders to every page, but it does anchor your pictures very nicely and really quickly for you. So for me, that's one of the pros of the borders, is it just gives you a quick foundation and a frame to work inside of that does your pictures justice. And then anytime I kind of see an opportunity, anytime I see an opportunity, I sometimes get ahead of myself, right? Where the border's like this, I like to tuck, okay? I was going to show you the other option, but what I was trying to say was when I do see this, I think tuck, 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 layer, layer, tuck, tuck, layer, all the above, okay? So easy, quick. You'll love it. The results are great every single time. And no, I don't overthink it. And I do enjoy creating my pages. So I think, again, you don't have to overthink it. But then, of course, you can do a quick filler gap when it comes to your photos too. You can just do something like that. Or if we wanted a bigger picture here, that's another option. Again, if your picture allows it right here, I would say tuck, 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 because you keep the movement happening on your page. If it covers something important, then don't do it. If it doesn't cover something important, then I'm always going to recommend you to keep it open. I think you cut all that out and you made it beautiful. Let it do, spotlight your pictures in a beautiful way. All right. Okay. So then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look for opportunities for pictures. See this space, this white space here, guys? So opportunities again, but what happens if I wanted to just start placing, I'm losing a lot. Here's where my mind goes, because I'm going to just play. Well, what if I slide? What if I slide? What if I pivot? What happens to my page, right? If something's not feeling like it, then start moving. Don't have to replace everything sometimes. Sometimes it's just rearranging a few designs in that manner. Or, again, we always talk about a quick photo lineup. Really simple, easy. Just say, you know what? I don't like how those edges are meeting my design. So I'm going to put, 4x4s down the middle. And this is something we talk about QE Club often. This is why I refer to it as a photo lineup, as a photo stagnant. There's a lot of go-to photo options that we talk about in our QE Club. Picture Perfect. it's one of the topics that we kind of readdress and talk about often. You know what? I'm going to see if I can see how I just moved this, Shelly. Sometimes it happens. Was it Shelly, right? It was Shelly who asked that question.
What's that?
Shelly was the one who asked the question about when things move. Sometimes you just have to push it back because it does happen. But okay, so I talked about how I use this to pick things up, and I do slide a lot. I slide things around my page. So just like Legos, you place them in place. Think of that as templates, sliding. I need to come up with a term for that, babe. I'm thinking of slip and slide because it's summer, but that doesn't quite make sense. But I do rotate and slide often on my page. I was just looking at that thinking, I'm not quite sure I love that there with this so much of the movement from the border and then so much from the movement of the flower. But we did start out with saying one of our goals was to add this flower. So I might just move that over there instead. And see how this pokes up over this photo? For me, I love those layering options. You may not say, no, I don't want that. And you might say, push that on top. But if, again, you can bring different layers front and forward, I don't know. I just think that's fun when it happens sometimes. Okay. All right. Then, of course, we can go. I'm going to just throw in again. I mean, we haven't even touched the Kiwi Club, guys, because those will really enhance this set. But I'm going to stick to the featured sets. Sometimes on these events, I'll throw in the other templates just to kind of tease all the non-club members how amazing they are. But I'll stick to some featured sets. If you have these featured sets, go pull them out, use them, get inspired this summer. If you don't have them and you're looking for ones to add to your collection, you can't go wrong with these combinations. You can trust us that they're good combinations. You can mix and match them and have a lot of fun with them. All right.
Linda says flip and slide.
Flip and slide.
Slip and slide.
That is,
Okay.
but then that's too close to Linda, the slide and flip. Now we got flip and slide and then slide and slip. Flip, slide, slide instead of slide.
Kathy says flip, slide, slide instead of slide, slide.
We got a whole lot of sliding and a whole lot of flipping
These
happening
are
on
just
it.
more moves to add to
Yeah,
our line dance.
More moves to add to our line dance that we
That we want something, maybe.
I don't know. It goes through my mind. That's all I hear though when I think of it. Okay, what did I do with, oh, there they are. I'm like, what did I do with my summer set?
Also, as you're focusing in, Christina had asked, off the subject, any idea when overstock of June's paper will hit the shop?
June's usually happens at the beginning of the month. We wait till the month that it was released to be done. And then they wait for final inventory count from our shipping team. And then, so I guess my question is to you, usually within the first 7 days of a month. So give it to next week because we just hit July. Okay.
And then Charisse, again, kind of talking about the pouches, was wondering, do you have a list of all the pouches needed in total if you own all the templates? She said that would be very helpful.
Yes,
Charisse.
Charisse.
Exactly what I need. So.
Charisse, are you in the Circle community? Because if so, I'll take you on a field trip here in a moment. Exactly where to find that article.
Did we do something about
Yeah, because I know a lot of people when we first, I don't even know when was that, last year sometime, guys. The months are going by so fast. I think that could be cute. And then I look at this spot. You don't always have to embellish these spots, nor do you need little details. Let me know if you're in the community, Charisse, and I will show you exactly where to find it. But I first want to make sure you're in the community. I guess the answer to that, if you're not in the community and you have an online account already, you need to email support@canwheeling.com.
And just say, hey, do you have that?
You need to, yeah, because everyone got the invite, but if you missed it in your inbox, totally understand. Things like that. You've been busy the last few months, whatever. Like, we want to make sure you have it. Okay.
Cherie says, I am. That would be awesome. It's been a while since I've been on a field trip. So.
There we go. Field trips are fun. So what I was saying about this spot, sometimes it just creates another opportunity. Sometimes you think, well, is this just kind of hanging out by itself? Now, remind you, these are all going to be out of patterns. The moment you start replacing these with pattern papers, they're going to come to life. It's going to add more busyness to it overall, right? All right. But it could create another little collage section, right? Little grouping. And I do love groupings. I always think of groupings sometimes when I'm doing my pages. Pam says she's at the park doing swimming. She's making memories. Here's your page, Pam, when you take pictures. You got it. These features, that's a good.
All the pre-orders that she's made yesterday.
Yay!
Background paper packs.
Happy mail in the mail. So exciting. I'm glad that they all are getting out in reasonable and safe packaging. I do hold my breath sometimes. No, really, on the note, guys, I know you guys, we've been friends for a long time. I can say things, but oh gosh, I couldn't. Was it Terry? I think it was Terry. I was literally driving with David yesterday. We're doing a return, and I looked down and I was just checking on my phone. I was on Facebook, but every once in a while, I keep a pulse on things, right? Just to make sure if there's issues, we can address them right away, things like that, or at least try to. And what did she say? She said there was a post she made, and she said,
like, I just got my
background papers, and I'm disappointed. Dot. But I saw disappointed, and I literally was like, oh no, what am I going to have to go take care of? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. And but it was a ... And she's like, that I didn't get more. And I was like, heart attack.
Good one.
No, really, it made me stop for a moment in my tracks. I was like, what? Anyways, all is well. Nothing's not fixable. I've learned that in business, but at the same time, we really want to try hard to give you guys good products. And I'm so glad that you're loving them. I'm so glad.
Marie's in here. She says that was
Marie. I was like, wait, who was I talking to? Yep, it was you, Marie.
Great wake up call.
Yeah, way to keep me on my toes, Marie. Oh my gosh. All right.
That was so great.
Field trip and tracing and cutting out the coastal border, and then we will sign off for the today. Let me find paper that I can cut this out of, because I didn't plan that far for this specific event, although we do that in many other events. This one will not be about that. Today's event is just about playing, and the value of play. I'm going to cut it out of paper that I know I'm going to use in the PJ Playdate, because then I can already have that cut down and I can use it on my next layout. All right. So again, the borders, and Sherry, I will talk about when I go to shake things out. So you're right. Things can move. This is what,
Sorry.
Shelly? Was it Shelly? It was Shelly, not Sherry. I'm sorry. You probably get that often. Isn't that funny how sometimes it happens? Okay. When things move, right? Take a picture right now. If you're happy with the bones of your layout, take a picture. That's a great option. Washi table for me, oh gosh, it would be tedious. I don't know if I would do it, guys. But if you love it and you do it and it works for you, I think it's a great suggestion as well. Just for me, I'd be like, no. But here's the thing. When I'm pulling things out, I place a hand down. Okay, this might take a few, but it's now so natural for me. I forget that I actually do it until somebody asks me. And the reason I'm doing this is because of this question you asked. I do this and I slide. Okay, then I take my hand and I slide. And then I kind of pick up. But sometimes I knock things, right? I like do that. And then I'm like, and then I just kind of put it back. I kind of do this tedious thing. Not perfectionist. I'm not like making a line because I know I'm about to pick this up. So I'm not like trying to keep everything in pristine, pristine order, things like that. But for the most part, that's what I'll do. And then I just take one piece at a time. But yes, the picture thing is my often suggestion that I recommend. And I have done that a few times. Most of the time, sometimes I'll do the picture thing if I know I'm going to get midway through a layout, even though I am at the phase of life right now that I don't have little children. I think part of me still, if I'm about to leave my scrapbooking room, I will still take a picture. So just in case, honestly, if the cat jumps up on my table and like distorts my whole design because I didn't quite finish it, I have that picture to be like, how did I lay this out? So we're going to trace it like a normal border, even though it's more detailed than the other ones. We're going to trace it, like I said, two together. We're going to do the one trace down the middle. I'm going to do a straight cut, and then this one, even though, again, I'm showing that it's more detailed, guys, I don't want that to intimidate you to stay away from Coastal Highway. If you're like, oh my gosh, I do love Coastal Highway, but really that one border, like it's not too different. We follow the same steps as our other borders. The only difference is when we cut this one cut up the middle, we want to really just slow down our cuts a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, of course, still start my cuts on the back ends of my scissors. I'm going to follow the 2 cutting tips that we give, which is stay to the back ends of your scissors and then glide your paper, right? So I'm rotating. You can see this, literally, this paper is going a whole 180. And then it's going to go right on back. But you can see I had to slow down that cut more so than other times you've seen me cutting. And that's just because of the nature of this design. But overall, I didn't have to get up out of my seat. I didn't have to go measure things. I didn't have to waste paper. I didn't have to overthink, right? Clunking things around or figuring out things like that. Like I was able just to do the basics. Trace, cut, ink, replace. But again, 2 of the cutting tips are stay on the back end. So I always try to move. When I get to the tip of my scissors, I pull back and I stay right there on the back ends of my scissors when I can. So like these cuts, I'm staying to the back ends. When I get to a curve like this, okay, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to get as much of the space of the scissors as I can. I'm going to go back to the scissors and I'm going to allow my continual cut to go. I'm going to get actually pretty close to the tip of that because I'm doing details at this point. But I'm not doing, so let me finish this cut. Keep going. So I'm kind of rotating this paper. See, I'm feeding the paper through my scissors on these cuts. And then I'm going to go back the other way. See that? And I'm keeping my hands under the paper here. Okay, so like I got to this point. And then you'll know just like you might have to pull forward on your cuts. So cut 1. Stay on the back ends, do quick shortcuts. Cut 2, don't move your cutting hand. Feed the paper through your cutting hand. So we want to do this, right? Moving this with our other hand. We don't want to do this. You don't want to move your cutting hand. Now listen, guys, this is like riding a bike. Those 2 cutting tips, and specifically on little details like this, it really helps. It's like, consciously just be like, okay, Susan says these 2 cutting tips. Okay. Consciously pay attention a few times when you're cutting, but sooner or later, your muscle memory just picks up and it's just like, you don't even think about it anymore. But they're 2 valuable cutting tips that will make a huge difference when you're cutting out anything, really. I don't even, if it's not even designer templates, it's something else you're cutting out, just cutting tips in general. And then of course, the number 1 rule is a good pair of scissors. Makes a huge difference. Suzette said, I just ordered the background paper for the first time and I was so excited. Yay! I'm excited for you guys. It is definitely one of those staple items that you don't realize you need until you need it kind of thing. Or, well, I guess a lot of you guys knew you guys need it because a lot of you guys were saying, can we please get some background sheets? Oh, I think it was Terry that made this comment. That's why it was fresh on my mind. She was telling me that one of her goals was she's going to take her background papers and she's going to make go-to layout kits to go with each one of her background sheets from her background paper pack and complete those layouts. And I was like, that is an amazing goal. Yeah. Not only are you going to use up your paper stash, you know, you can confidently pull together layout kits because often what's happening missing from our stash are those background sheets, which is why we offered the background packs to be the supplement to fill in the spots where our paper stash is kind of lacking sometimes. Because your foundation makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference in how you feel about your page when you start to bring in other patterns. All right. So Shelly, then at this point, I would absolutely, again, kind of like run my thing through, see how I have my hand here again, just kind of whatever layers or groupings I have, I'll place those back down. And then the best thing is like to keep a tray or something to put your templates in. That will help from anything just bumping into your design and sliding it all over. But for the most part, yeah, just take one layer at a time. Start with your bottom ones, move to the larger items, and then go to the top from there. All right. All right. Looks like we've kept you guys long enough. Chatty Susan today. It's been too long. Excited to be back online with you guys. Of course, we've missed last week, or it just feels like it's been a long time.
It's been busy month. field trip?
Quick field trip. Yes, I need to go and pull that up. We have it up. Let's go for it.
Good to go?
Yep. All right. So we're over here in the community. And the reason why I mentioned, make sure you guys are in here, is when it comes to organizational tips. One, we have lots of great tips in here for templates and paper and scraps of paper. But the most recent, because it's the hot topic in the community right now, is the tabs. So you'll want to go here, tips and community insights for template organization, but also how Susan organizes her Kiwi Lane template spreadsheet. So this is that spreadsheet that will tell you not only, I guess here, let me download that really fast. Yep. So I said right here, I used a medium 9-inch. That's the one pocket template to fit those in. I used one of the doubles, one of the mixes, which is 3, the 3 triple. But we explained that all in this video right here too. Okay. So overall, it's been a few months, but I believe that's where a great resource that you'll want to kind of check out is this one and this one. We broke it into both 2 of these articles related to those details. Okay, what we broke up to what. How many you need to buy? I'm trying to remember where that was because that's been a hot minute since I've asked for that. We don't want to talk about app. Those are basket suggestions. That was a hot topic when we initially released them too. That was a fun little tip somebody mentioned. Sherry, let me see. Sharice, sorry. Who? Sherry? Shelly. Shelly.
For what now?
How many pockets does she
that
need?
was Sharice. That was
Sure. Okay. SS words. I will, I thought it was here on this, so I'm not sure. I will add it to this article. I'll do that right after this live event. So you don't have to watch the whole video because I think I mentioned it in the video, but I want it in writing too. So I'll make sure that we edit that and add that to it to break that down. But those 2 spreadsheets in both of those articles should be resourceful and helpful. All right. All right. Well, guys, remember to play and have fun. Enjoy the creative process when it comes to this beautiful hobby and scrapbooking. And of course, with that, we hope that you feel inspired and encouraged by this month's featured sets. Pull them out. Step 1, right? Pull them out. Step 1 is to pull them out and just put them on your page and then start building from there. Literally layering, flipping, sliding, tucking, layering, all that fun stuff. It really adds into a lot of fun designs. Not only does it add to a lot of fun designs, but it also transforms into beautiful pages. So can't wait to see what you guys play to create. Make sure to share it with us in the community. And if you guys have any questions, email us at support@kiwilane.com. We're here to help out any way we can. All right. Enjoy. Oh, and if I don't talk to you guys before then, happy 4th of July. All right. Take care. Bye, guys.